All right, we are back, or I guess I should say I'm back since it's just me today. However, good StarCraft is back. That is the main point. We have ourselves a best of 5, and I'm excited for it. In the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's Astrea representing Alpha X. And in the top right-hand side of the map, it's Solar representing Triumphant Song Gaming. Now, Solar is a bit of a different beast. I'd say a much larger beast, if that's classification, than Sort of is. Sort of a very good Zerg, however, Solar is just another caliber in a sense. Solar plays at an incredibly high level. He's just a monster. Like, he's the favorite to win this tournament. However, Astrea is looking good. He really just bopped the style of Sort of. Now, I see Solar being a lot more aggressive, though, than we'll be seeing potentially from Sort of. So that in itself is reason for Astrea to worry. He's not going to be the one completely dictating the pace of the game. And that naturally, I think, is going to make it a lot tougher for him. Pulling up that production tab, we have a pool, a hatchery on the way. Nothing out of the ordinary. I do just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are tuning on in, make sure to press that like button if you happen to be, or I mean, not the like button. Oh, that's total autopilot from doing YouTube videos. Make sure to check out that match, Reno. I didn't get that much sleep last night. I did not, so maybe I'll start to lose it during the cast. Who knows? But no, yeah. There is a lot of things you can do to support the stream, though. Check out that match, Reno. You can leave the one-up. Leave a favorite for the stream. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on YouTube and everything. Most important one, though, use that Matcherino code. Supports the players. That's the most important part. And yeah, let's take a look here. Adept going to be shading across the map, following her sister. She gets sent back right away, though. It's Adept. Committed pretty far in. I'm not sure if she's going to stay alive. Yeah, gets the one other Ling, but she does die, so Astrea really committed on in with that Adept. Another one flying on in towards the main base. She's not going to commit, though. She also does get herself a Creep Tumor, which is really nice. Creep Tumors, very valuable targets. Oh, might get a drone. No, Solar is much too quick to lose a drone. Saves them. Nicely done. It is a Stargate opening coming from Astrea after he just killed that Overlord. And he's going to follow it up with yet another Oracle, so the 2 Oracle play. And then, yeah, just getting his gases at his natural. He'll probably take his 3rd base pretty quick like he's done in the past. And then we'll see what's Solar going to do. That's the main question. Is Solar just going to try and defend the Oracles and maybe turn on the aggression himself? I wouldn't be surprised to see that, because Solar is one of the Zergs who plays aggressively. If there's potential to go for an attack, he's probably going to give it a go. I mean, it's not like he's not going to go into the late game or anything, but he's not a player who's going to just turtle like Sort of did. And ultimately, that I think makes you a lot more versatile. Third base, there we go, on the way for Astrea. And a lair on the way for Solar with a Roach Warren. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a big Roach Bane attack just after trying to defend whatever Astrea is going to throw his way. For now, though, very normal opening. Astrea going for, I guess, his normal opening as his adepts are going to engage those lings. Astrea really likes being the aggressive player. He really likes pinning his opponent. This is part of his play, as having this many adepts out on the map really forces your opponent to stay back. We see Solar, he's firing up a lot more lings to try and deal with this. And Astrea is actually just going to go on home. This is a really cool play from Astrea that I'm noticing in his build, just making like the 4 or 5 adepts, 4 to 6 adepts I think we've seen so far, and just being very, very blunt with them, essentially just saying, yeah, I'm going to potentially shade on into your base, so you got to make more lings, you got to respect this. We do have Astrea. He's going to be trying to sneak some adepts into Solar's 3rd base, most likely. We'll see. There we go. They are going to shade. How far away are they? Looks like they're going to get pretty much on into that base. Going to start focusing down some drones. Solar going to run those drones away. Looks like only 2 drones have gone down. Actually, a very good response from Solar. A very quick pull. Loses 3 drones, 4 drones for 2 adepts. Astrea really getting the bare minimum there. However, trading out the adepts at this stage of the game, probably better than doing it in a few minutes from now or not doing anything at all with them. Now, Solar is going for a Spire behind this, and this is probably a Spire for Mutalisk or something like that. Meanwhile, Astrea going to be trying to get 2 more Adepts in to get some drones. However, it's going to be tough coming in from this angle. Astrea, Templar Archives on the way, Charge, Immortals. Cinnamon Spice and everything nice for the Protoss, playing a very, very similar style to his previous match. +1 melee on the way. Nine mutas are on the way this time for Solar, so that's already showing us a different style of Zerg. And while Astrea will have anti-air in the form of Archons and whatnot, he is not going to have that much defense. He's got a shield battery at his 3rd, but nothing else. No cannons going up. He hasn't really scouted this out just yet. And so these mutas are actually going to blindside him a little bit. And this could be tough. This sometimes just straight up kills Protosses. So what could be a very nice decision from Solar. I mean, these mutas are going to come on in. 3 cannons are going on up for Astrea. It looks like 1 at every base. Could be a little bit too late, though. We shall see. The mutas flying on in. They are heading towards the natural. The cannon might buy a little bit of time, but you are pretty much going to lose probes in this situation right now. Astrea, who is planning on going for an attack, is now going to have to pull the trigger, and this is exactly what Zerg wants. Bait Astrea into a poor engagement while dealing critical damage back at home, and looks like Solar is doing exactly that. Astrea is trying to push on in, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Oracles are engaging the Queens, picks off 1 of them, so helping wean down that unit count. Another Oracle move is going to engage the Queens further, but Astrea has already taken so much damage back at home. He's pretty much all in to make this attack work. It's do or die for the Protoss player right now, and I think he's just going to run out of steam, it would seem. So Astrea has been completely blindsided by the mutas. He's lost so many probes back at home. Solar's not even microing them. He knows it's all about this defense, and now these units have to be pulled back, and yeah, that's it. GG. Solar with the quick Spire and mutas catching Astrea off guard, who did not scout for that. Nice move indeed from Solar. And now we will load on into the next map, which is going to be Zen. Okay. That game was quicker than I thought it would be. I mean, it was just setting up to be a macro game. We'll make sure both players are ready as we load on into the next one. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in today. Alright, the best of 5 continues on. And this man in the top right-hand side of the map has himself the 1-0 lead. It's Solar. And in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's Astrea. That was kind of part of the question for this tournament. Who will be able to stop Solar? And to be honest, I'm not sure who. Like, Astrea, I mean, he doesn't... Like, Astrea is a very, very good Protoss player, and he looks really good at times, but he doesn't seem quite complete enough in order to contend with someone like Solar. Like, at times he looks like really good as Solar, but then it seems like, just like those mutas not being scouted or something like that, seems like there's still a few holes in his play or something like that. So going back to the topic of who can beat Solar, well, Special, who kind of just throws up and throws down some barracks, is not it. Astrea definitely could turn this one around, but it's... And I think we're still going to have some close games, but it's going to be tough. So my next bet would probably be Clem on the European side of the tournament. I mean, there's a good chance that he will face Solar off up in the higher matches. Like, as I'd say, he is the favorite up there. And we'll see if we just have a repeat. I mean, Astrea seems to like his style, but being caught off guard like that, I mean, it really forced his hand. I mean, every game he played versus sort of, he didn't, when he had that army on the door of the Zerg, he didn't actually commit on in. He just tried to bait the Zerg into a bad fight or something. So, while he wasn't doing that... Oh, this is actually really curious. I didn't even notice this. This is how Astrea is walling off. He's taking his third base. Whoa, this is really cool. Taking his third base as his natural. Really cool choice. I haven't seen this yet. This is why I wanted to cast some Pro StarCraft. I had no idea what to do on a map like this, but I mean, the wall distance, it is normal using the pylon in the wall, I guess. Or the pylon is in the wall, so that could be a little bit vulnerable. Metabolic boost on the way. Sentry on the way for Astrea. I mean, Astrea did actually have sentries before the mutas caught him off guard too, didn't he? Looking back on that, like, he could have tossed out a hallucinated Phoenix and spotted that. Or maybe he just warped him in for that fight, I'm not sure. This game though, holy moly. Very fast third Nexus from Astrea. Like, this is ludicrously fast. Going for something a little bit more radical versus Solar this game. Like, this is such a quick third Nexus. Very, very radical play, as a matter of fact. Solar, though, is going to check for this, which is really, really nice. Hallucination going out for Astrea. You pretty much want to keep tossing these out all the time if you're a Protoss player, particularly if you're one who's going to be on the defensive, like Astrea will be this game, until at least he gets up and reaps the benefit from his quick third Nexus. And oh, look at this, Solar just saying, right man, I'm going to build a Roach Ward. And there is a chance that Solar is just going to attack on into Astrea. I mean, it's not a given. However, someone like Solar scouting a quick third Nexus might try and punish it. We'll see. This could be nice for Astrea, though. I mean, there's a chance that Solar's going to commit to a big attack and Astrea will just defend. As Astrea obviously knows he's on the defensive based on the fact that he's got a third base. Immortal being chrono boosted out, Astrea knowing that he needs good units out like this. I wouldn't even mind another Spire, though, from Solar. I wouldn't mind another Spire at all. Solar, though, so far, just making a few units to defend. Or maybe be a little bit offensive, we shall see. More and more roaches on the way, but then he's also squeezing out a few drones. So, I mean, maybe Solar's going to test Astrea a little bit, but I think Solar is just going to macro up here. And if he is just macroing up, I really do like that he just throws into a ton of drones and then plays it out from there, because if your opponent macros up and you can't punish it, you pretty much have to macro up yourself. However, Astrea, though, oh man, this is actually such a sick build. Quick third base. He hasn't taken any other gases other than the ones in his main base, and he's going up to 9 gate charge lot on the back of 3 bases, and he is gonna unleash fury upon Solar. Solar has scouted this out, by the way. He's seen all these gates, so he knows that this is gonna be coming his way. But oh man, it's a coming. Warp Prism is on the way behind this, as oh wait, that actually gets cancelled. Okay, there's the Prism out already. A big Zealot warping going down for Astrea. Alright, oh, he's actually forced back a little bit. Good for us. Ball's going down. Oh no, this could actually be real bad for Astrea. He tosses down force fields to try and cover his retreat here, but Solar jumping on top of him before this attack really gets underway, trying to cut or sweep his feet out from underneath him. The Zealots, though, now is going to start hitting into the natural base of the Zerg as Astrea is beginning just to try and pull his opponent apart. A ton of charge lots moving in towards the main base right now, and you can sure bet that Astrea is moving in with the rest of his army, pushing towards the third base of Solar, suddenly hitting his opponent all over the place. Zealots still in the main base, hitting these roaches as they pop out in the natural. The main army has been recalled at the third base, but Solar has really been pulled apart by this. There's more Zealots warping into his main. DTs have been warped on in to aid this. And is there even an Overseer in position? The answer is no. The Overseer's across the map. So Astrea gonna at least get this lair, and then can probably get out with these 2 DTs if he chooses. Zealots in the third base, catching Solar off guard a little bit. But yeah, a nice move there from Astrea, getting the lair. He didn't get a ton of damage besides that. I mean, he got 9 drones and the lair, which is probably adequate damage for this. Solar did get up a 4th base though, so really he is still on a 3-base economy. But I mean, Astrea also on a very good economy behind this too. We'll see what else he's going to go into behind this. He's making more Immortals. Throws up a Forge now. And I'm willing to bet a Templar Archive is behind this as well at some point. And yeah, just a crazy move from Astrea. What a sick build coming out of Astrea. It didn't even necessarily get too much done there, but 9-gate charge after quick third Nexus with the DT follow-up is pretty cool, you got to admit. The choice to go into a Robo Bay is interesting from Astrea. Robo Bay and another Robo. Is this just going to be like Immortals and then Charge Lots? Or Immortals and then Disruptors? Or Immortals and Colossus? Either way, a very, very cool build coming out of Astrea. This is why this guy is one of my favorite players. As just going for a crazy build like that. Any player who goes for something that's a little bit different is a winner in my heart. Looks like the choice is going to be Disruptors behind this. And I mean, Astrea has got himself a pretty big army at this point. Like, this is a ton of Zealots, a good Immortal count already, and now he's building double Disruptors at once. Crazy, crazy build. Looks like Astrea moving out on the map once again, sending Zealots all over the place. He's got the Prism as well, so he's going to try and hit Solar with some of this multi-prong aggression once more, and he's done a very good job of it so far. I mean, he really pulled Sort of apart. He almost pulled Solar apart earlier in this game, so Astrea showing us that he really likes to try to completely pull his opponent apart. Exactly what I just said. Might have overcommitted once again with his main push, but no, his force fields do pull back Solar. These Zealots that came on in pull back Solar as well. A ton of Zealots warped on into the main base. Gonna go for this hatchery now. This is a fair bit of a commitment, but he will at least get the hatchery for his troubles. Does he save the units? Yes, he does. Saves as many as he can fit in that Prism. And then a 4th base goes up behind it. So Astrea just keeps sniping Solar's bases. Solar, though, is still rising in that count as he is taking the one in the very bottom right. But then look at this. Colossus on the way. Blink is on the way as well, which will help with potential mutas that Solar could be going for. And Solar, I think he could be going for some mutas here. He finished up that Spire. No, instead he chooses to spend his gas on a ton of Banelings here, and then he makes one muta. Guess that one muta is probably just to kill off that Prism, prevent it from harassing endlessly. The base in the bottom right has been spotted. Colossus production continues on for Astrea. He's going to add a few in these army. A few Colossus in your army is always good as Protoss, as it just adds some very constant DPS. Disruptors are moving out and maybe looking for a big hit. No, the Zerg army isn't there. Prism could be recalled to survive from this one muta. Astrea is not going for that, though. I would like to see Astrea go for extended thermal lance, however, I'm still pretty happy with his position in this game. I mean, he's been harassing non-stop. Solar's just really been made a bit of a mess of. Like, Solar is not a happy camper in this game. He's doing a really good job keeping it together. However, when you're being hit in this many places non-stop, now DTs are joining up in the mix, like, it's just not, he's just straight up not having a good time. Banelings get caught in mass there. That was a huge count of Solar's Banelings getting found. That is very, very painful for Solar, losing that much gas. And he did lose this base in the bottom right, so he keeps losing these hatcheries. And Astrea is playing a very, very good PvZ this game. And it looks like he's going to be gearing up for a big attack as he warps in some more Stalkers. And is going to be relying on those to help make this push work. Colossus, Disruptors, Immortals, and Stalkers going to be looking to push on in. Disruptor Nova goes on out, hits a decent chunk of the Banelings, and it is no easy feat to hit Banelings with Disruptors. The Zerg keeps getting pushed back. Another Nova goes out, doesn't get the connection off, and all of a sudden, all the Disruptors are wiped by the Banelings there. And so it's just Astrea fighting with his Colossus and Immortals against the Zerg army. Looks like this fight's going alright for him, though. The Corruptors are working away on the Colossus, however, there's still a high Immortal count and a high Stalker count behind this. Looks like Astrea will pull back, though. He's going to have his +2 done to help out pretty darn soon here. Warped in more Stalkers. This is kind of making his army rather volatile, though. There is not a lot of HP in this army. There's no Zealots to buffer for this. It's really just all Stalkers, and Banelings do pretty well against Stalkers. Roach Ravager Ling does well against Stalkers. And so Astrea, realizing that, it's going to pull back. I was just going to say, probably throws up a 5th base as he decides to macro, and he does indeed. Gonna have to get on out of there. Good thing Stalkers and Blink. They will retreat through that location. Psystorm now on the way. We're probably going to need to see a Stargate get thrown up for Astrea, because he did fail to kill Solar, and that probably was a push that was aiming to kill the Zerg player, and Solar is still just trucking on. All of a sudden, the Zerg going to be coming on in, trying to push up this ramp. There could be some force fields, and I think those force fields might have been a little bit premature, but Astrea just saying, get out of my face, Zerg. As he goes for a big, big counterattack here. A lot of Zealots warping in with this Prism. Looks like they will be getting shut down relatively easily, though. However, it does result in the Zerg army being pulled back all the way home. Astrea once again pushing into his opponent. Got to be so careful here, because Solar has got a very high Baneling count, and this many Banelings will honestly just wipe the floor with mass Stalkers. So Astrea gonna have to be careful. Force field's getting tossed down to cover his army here. Baneling's still rolling forward, though, and Solar's coming in with a massive surround. Astrea blinks the Stalkers away. However, he is losing most of his army here as Solar takes a beautiful engagement there. Big move there from the Korean Zerg player. And this is just very painful for Astrea. He can try and blink away with his Stalkers. He's got some High Templar to come and help out, but he lost a ton of supply there. There's some Psystorm going down, and he's got a few more where that came from. He's just got to try and remax as quick as he can, but this situation is getting worse and worse for Astrea, because on top of losing a big portion of his army there, he has also got to deal with the Broodlords that are coming his way soon. And they are going to be coming soon, as Solar already got them pretty much across the map. Solar, with this killer instinct, going to be potentially pushing on in right now. couple of banelings not amounting to much there, but Astrea sees the stalkers right now and he knows that he's in trouble. Or sees the broodlords there and he knows that he's in trouble. More banelings morphing on in. A lot of lings going down, but there's simply not enough Protoss here, I feel, to deal with this. Astrea not really warping in too much to help out either. He's unsure of what to build at this point. He needs more Stalkers and Archons, I guess, to try and deal with this. Psystorm goes down to help try and zone these broodlords back, but there's just too many Lings, Ravagers, and Banelings, and I think Solar is going to be able to clean this one out. Big Zealot counterattacks going down once again, trying to hit a Solar in multiple locations, but he's not going to be able to deal with the main army. A lot more Stalkers have warped in. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. He is going to get underneath these broodlords. If he takes care of the broodlords, his prospects become a lot better. Alright, Astrea maybe making this happen. That's going to be close. If he can at least get the broodlords before his stalkers die, there's a chance, but there's still a lot on the ground here for Solar, so Astrea warping into more and more stalkers to try and repel his opponent. He does still have the base in the top left, keeping his economy going, but Solar is seeking to end that. These stalkers going to want to try and react there. Zealots in the main base of Solar still being a pain. Solar's economy taking a bit of a hit. However, still doing alright. Stalkers picking off as many of the lings as they can as Astrea warps in more Stalkers and more Templar. Zealot's not able to get that main base once again. Solar, though, still got himself on a pretty healthy amount of bases, so he's going up in supply, but Astrea, he wants to take a fight again. He knows that both armies were reset, and he's hoping to utilize his high Stalker count and high mobility to get himself an advantage. The High Templar are going to be worth gold, as Solar is committing hard into the Ravager, into the Ling once again. Like, these guys, they are going to be worth gold. That's barely an understatement. Looks like that base gets saved. Good transfuse from Solar, but then there's also drones dying somewhere. Not sure where that was. Prism gets kept alive. High Templar on a ramp is going to be very, very risky for Solar. Looks like he's coming forward. Psystorm gets tossed down, but all of a sudden, that's all the Psystorm gone. A nice move from Solar, using all the energy and forcing Astrea just to basically burn those Psystorms. Good trade there for the Zerg, getting 5 High Templar. Knocking them out of the equation. Astrea has warped in more as this game approaches the 18-minute mark. It's been pretty scrappy, but the Zerg really up in army supply at this point, and Astrea's constant counterattacks are what's keeping him in this game. And so far, it looks like there's minimal to react to this one, so Solar is being pulled back once more. Astrea is just doing such a good job hitting all over the place. He might even get this base, which would be huge. Instead, he elects to fight those lings, as he knows he's probably not going to get the base. But then he drops in the main base. He's going to be able to kill it off again, most likely. And yeah, that base is probably going to go down if it gets focused. And it is indeed focused down. Astrea saves all the units there. Keeping Solar down on the base count is always nice. Astrea has resecured his location here. And Solar, while he reached the Broodlord tech before, he hasn't had a chance to really rebuild them. He's just been worried about trying to stay alive. And Astrea is building up his own scary army once more, while trying to keep the Zerg busy with these constant counterattacks, these Zealots. It's a good thing they're quick, as they're going to have to try and run away. Astrea is coming on in with all of his Stalkers here. Got to be careful, though, because his army is still very, very flimsy. Solar's looking for a big surround, and this could potentially be it. Astrea going to have to use some very good Psystorms right now, zoning away the Zerg army. There's another Psystorm landing. More and more Psystorms have to be called on in, and so far they've hit pretty decent connections. This is mainly just Blink Stalkers, though, for the Protoss, which is not a strong army, and Solar is going to be coming in with more and more units. Astrea, with just Blink Stalkers, going to try and handle this massive Zerg force, and I don't know if he's going to have enough. The probes have to evacuate this location. Most of the banelings are gone, so Astrea can potentially micro his way into victory right now, but more lings are spilling forward. There's no zealots or anything to buffer for this army, nothing else really to help out. DTs have been warped in. There's actually no overseer with this army. However, Astrea has taken big damage with losing that base once more, and there we go, an overseer joins on up. And I get the feeling that Solar is finally going to be able to take this one. More and more Overseers crossing the map for Solar. He knows that he's able to close it out. And GG, Solar takes the 2-1 lead in this series. What a match between these players. I'm really enjoying the games. Or Solar takes a 2-0 lead, pardon me. And the third map will be Triton. Solar, the monster of this tournament, the Afreeca World Champion who's won so many of them, is looking to move on into the next stage here. Just got to win one more map. And Astrea, I mean, like I said, he's showing good games, but he just hasn't been able to deliver, like a win or anything. It was close. And I really have enjoyed every game I've seen of Astrea so far. Just he hasn't closed it out yet. He's got to go for, like, I really like the way that he approaches just with his macro play and everything. But, yeah. Alright. We are loading on into the next game here. It's going to be map number 3. Triton. Okay. In this best of 5, we have got Astrea in the top left-hand side of the map. It's going to be a tall order to come back versus Solar again. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Solar. The build from Astrea that game was really cool, you gotta say, though. The triple quick Nexus play on Zen. Like, I have a hard time enjoying Zen as a map, but when Astrea shows builds like that, that's something I'm a fan of. We'll see what he's gonna do this game. I mean, every game has been close so far, but he's just falling apart. Like, I don't know what he should do. Overlord crossing the map for Solar. Astrea obviously can't do anything as extreme like a quick third Nexus on Triton. You will just die, most likely. So we'll see. Maybe he needs to go for, like, quick DTs or something. It's tough to say. When you're approaching an opponent that's better than you, like, it's... like, at a certain level, it just becomes really tough to make anything happen. Like, it's just... Solar checks all the boxes. And so as Astrea, you're like, I already tried the 9-gate quick third attack, and that didn't work out. He played a little bit more normal in game number 1. So what do you gotta do? Just try again? And just say, right, I am pretty good at standard play, like Astrea has shown, like... But he's gotta go for... or just hope, I guess, that he's able to win 3 in a row. Really just run a tight ship, maybe? So... we see here Astrea going for a Stargate, Adept crossing the map. Maybe like glaives or something? Resonating glaives? But you may as well just go for charge. It's tough to say. Adept gonna shade, not shade. Psych. The Adept shading on in towards the natural there. Just scouting out. The 2 Adepts now here might be able to get that creep tumor. That'll be nice. And they do get it. Very nice move there. Might be a little greedy trying to get this other one. And they will not. Oracle on the way out. Yeah, a little bit Oracle coming across the map here. Solar, of course, faced this opening versus Zerg a million times, probably, as it's the most common build in PvZ, opening with an Oracle. Astrea gets himself at least the one drone. He seems to always get his one drone, gets out, only shields lost on the Oracle, nicely done. However, Solar just says, right, time to throw up some more drones. Astrea goes for the Twilight for the Robo. These two Oracles coming on in towards the main base could maybe nab themselves up a few drones. Let's see. Two drones, not bad. Three drones, actually, pardon me. Templar Archives on the way for Astrea before he gets up his third base. So maybe just gonna go for a big attack. As he warps in two more Adepts, which is curious. I guess just gonna try and shade them into every one of Solar's bases, perhaps. Then maybe go into like an Archon drop or something. That seems to be the most likely, I'm guessing. Yeah, he's got 4 gates, which allows you to warp in 2 Archons. Oracle's coming in once again. Oh, don't even get a single drone. That is painful. That's not working out too well for him. 3 more drones after losing a lot of shields. The rest of the Adept's going to be crossing the map. The third base, nothing's really there to defend it, so the Oracle's probably going to have to go back just to deal with these, this handful of pesky lings. We're now seeing the Archon drop going to begin at the third base. There's not that much to deal with this for Solar. Solar's actually kind of skimped on his ground units. He's got 3 roaches, so he's going to need them and the Queens here probably to deal with this. Queen goes down. Looking pretty good for Astrea so far. Archon's taking care of the roaches. This is actually looking like quite a nice move here. Adepts pick off that one Queen there. Going to be engaging into the lings. They probably will get cleaned on up. However, the Archons, now with some Zealots being warped on in, is going to allow Astrea to push on towards his opponent. Solar's now making roaches to help on out. However, it is a bit of a delayed reaction, so he's lost 6 drones. He's getting given a bit of the runaround. And the Archons are still alive for Astrea. They will be repelled, though. Not a bad move for Astrea, though. Gets himself 8 drones in total. Oracle's coming in as well. Oh, a very cute touch. Gets himself that Queen. Archon's going to try and secure this other Queen kill. Oh, I'm loving this play here from Astrea as he nabs up another few drones as well. Really liking this game from Astrea. Archon's still in that prism, still alive. With the Observer, can potentially get some creep, but the roaches are guarding away from that. And oh, Solar gonna be going for Swarm Host, which I didn't even see him sneak up that infestation pit. Pardon me, I was under those overlords. Gonna have that as an option, which will be cute. However, Archon's in a prism, definitely can help out deal with Swarm Host. And it is just Swarm Host, not Swarm Host Nidus, so these guys are going to have to hoof it across the map, old-timey fashion. Queen's moving across the map. Not sure what this is for. Is this going to be for some weird Swarm Host Roach all-in? Looks like it is going to be. There we go, Roaches crossing the map, Swarm Host and Queen's crossing the map as well. Astrea's got to get ready for this. Now, he does have a Disruptor on the way, which is going to really be an X-factor as far as this engagement goes. He's got the Archons in this prism as well to join on up. He's actually just going to try and wipe the feet out from underneath the Solar there, as he forces the wave of Locust out and now retreats immediately. He's going to have himself up 4 Archons to help try and deal with this. A good number of Zealots to buffer. The Locust, though, still getting connections, but then the Disruption Nova goes and gets a big connection there on the Zerg Fort. Astrea looking good so far to hold on. However, there will be another wave of Locust coming on in sooner rather than later. Solar, though, losing a lot of his roaches, and I think he is just going to be repelled here. The Archon's still doing pretty well for themselves. The Immortal now unloading on top of the Swarm Host. They just gotta wait before they can defend themselves with a wave of Locusts. No force fields go down to trap these, however, they're still gonna be taking big casualties there. It looks like one Archon gets caught, and Solar does repel Astrea's army there. But still, not bad. Oh, Disruptor Nova's going out, gonna hit some of the units there. Another goes out, gonna hit some more of the Swarm Host. And yeah, I think Astrea holds on, and GG, Solar taps out. Okay, so, staying alive. Nicely done by Astrea. And we will move on into map number 4 is gonna be Ephemeron. Very well played by Astrea. I really like that build choice. Not going down without a fight, showing us he's got the stuff to take a map off of Solar. Yeah, very cool play, and that was our first actual, like, series that went back and forth. All the others have, or the first two are 2-0s. This will not be a 3-0 or anything like that, though. Looks like Astrea going to be stepping away just for a second here. Perfect time to use that Matcherino code, though, ladies and gentlemen. AW50 is the code. And that is linked in chat on the announcement there. Keep in mind, after this, we are going to have our follow-up matches, which is going to be Sol versus Bly, Clem versus Mana, and then the best of 5 between them. Alright, looks like Astrea is back, and we are going to load on into the game. And away we go. Okay. As this series progresses, we have got Astrea putting a point on the board. And in the bottom right, it's Solar. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on into the 50th Afreeca World. Been doing these for quite a while now. And big thanks to Afreeca TV for sponsoring these events, of course. Not a lot of tournaments necessarily run this long. Like, a lot come and go, but we're still around. Which is great, and looking forward to bringing a lot more events in 2020, as per usual. Astrea with the quick probe move out prevents Solar from taking that base. Pool on the way for Solar, while Astrea does that little micro trick, tries to mess up the drone's mining. And this right here is why I could never be a pro gamer. The fact that just to mine You have to keep clicking and keep microing your workers. It's just too much work. Astrea trying to mess Solar up. Adept being chrono boosted out. Ling speed on the way. Probe is gonna have to head on out pretty quick. After these Lings show their face. Pylon block though, nicely done. And the Adept is going to be shading across the map. Is it going to be a double pylon block? Oh, if the Adept gets here. Oh, nicely done by Astrea, able to delay this expansion. Pylon, of course, gets cancelled, as he doesn't actually want to commit to that. However, delaying the hatchery. A nice little bit of a move from Astrea, just trying to be as big of a pain as possible. Does he get the drone? Oh, I think he maybe could have got the drone there. But not quite. Another Adept comes on in. He's still being a big pain to Solar. Astrea showing that he's a very persistent player when it comes to giving his opponent grief. We're seeing a Warp Prism on the way, as it has been a Robo opening for Astrea. A very quick Prism. This is going to give the Stalker high ground vision in order to kill off this Overlord. Once again, another thing that Solar's like, oh man, I gotta deal with this, really. That Prism. Gonna allow this Overlord to be picked off. Maybe not. Maybe it can reach safety. Adept's coming on out. We'll shoo that away. So the Overlord will actually survive. Forgot Ephemeron has a lot of dead space. It's actually going to be close. This guy's got to be careful. I think Astrea could get that if he had shuttled that over. Instead, he's going to be moving out on the map with that Prism and the two Adepts. Immortal on the way behind this as well. This is when I'd love to see Astrea throw up a Stargate. And go for like a weird delayed Oracle timing. Two Adepts. Gonna be microed with that Prism. Astrea actually just planning a big old gateway attack though, as he throws up 5 more gateways. Gonna put him up at 6. We'll see if he warps in another sentry to go with this. The Lings will be held back though. And I think Solar is in an alright spot. I mean, nothing too major has really happened. 6 more gateways are on the way. Gonna put him up to 7 now. Lings haven't made their way in, however. Solar, using those Lings, has consistently scouted the fact that there is, of course, no third base on the way up yet. So he should be getting ready for an attack coming his way, and he's going to be doing just that, as Solar's going to be throwing up the double spine. And I think Astrea is maybe getting the feeling that this attack isn't actually going to work on out, because he's already thrown up a robotics bay. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually just tries to get up a third base or something. As an attack like this, yeah. Pretty predictable for Solar. So Solar behind the scenes over at his Zerg base is just doing everything that he needs to prepare. Astrea is going for a bit of a depth harassment with the Prism. Pretty cute there. Realizing that he's not going to be able to make a big attack happen, most likely. Or successfully make a big attack happen, anyway. As Solar, yeah, just adequately prepared for an attack coming his way, I feel. And the second Astrea moves out on the map, it would I mean, there is a chance that Astrea is still going to move out on the map, maybe with a disruptor or two. But still, he's just sitting back so long. This is kind of concerning for the Protoss player. Like, Solar has just had all the time in the world to know that an attack is going to be coming his way. And as a result, he's just making Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers and getting ready to defend. The Disruptor is going to be the tool that will punish Solar just for building up a ton of units. However, it's still going to be tough for Astrea to make a push like this happen. That Disruptor is on the way. Meanwhile, Astrea is moving out. He's looking to push on in. I mean, he's got Immortals and Sentries. This Zerg army is pretty scary. Banelings have finished on up. Astrea waiting for that Disruptor to cross the map, and once that's out, that's going to force Solar to micro back. Meanwhile, Adepts are shading on in, trying to get as many drone kills as they can, and they're going to get 6 so far. Astrea also going to be just pushing on in, trying to force field some of these units, and there we go. There's the Disruptor. This could get a big hit on Solar. Solar suddenly has to be a lot more vigilant with his army. That Disruptor moving forward, tossing out that Nova. Gets an alright connection. Doesn't get too much. One Ravager, I think. But this begins the fight here as Solar's looking to push on in. I don't know if there's enough Sentry energy in order to force field once more. Though Banelings are getting forward, they are getting connections. However, Solar can't go off creep. The one Disruptor did die, however, another has finished up and rallied out. But keep in mind, Astrea is pretty darn committed right now. This is a 2-base all-in. This Disruptor is going to be looking for another big connection. It needs to get close enough to get the shot to connect, but not close enough that it's picked off, and Solar does actually focus it down. Nicely done by the Zerg once more. Army supply neck and neck as Astrea is just microing back with his units. Another Disruptor groups up. There's a Nova getting tossed on out. Hits a couple of Roaches as the Protoss player is still looking to push on in. This is neck and neck here as Astrea is fighting for this series right now. He wants to push on in, but he's lost most of his sentries. His Disruptors keep getting picked off. We'll see if he's able to get a big connection off, but once Bane's speed finishes up, this is going to be a lot more tough for him to take a good engagement. Disruption Nova goes off, gets actually a big connection there. 14 kills on that Disruptor. It gets saved in the Prism. The Prism does go down, though, so that's it for reinforcements for Astrea, but now there's 2 Disruptors. This other one gets a Nova. Is it going to get a good enough connection? It gets a pretty alright one, thinning out the Zerg army there, and all of a sudden, Solar's force looks pretty darn small compared to what it did before. Astrea, though, still needs to push on in, and the fact that the Prism went down means no reinforcements. Does this Disruptor have a shot off cooldown? Not yet. It will in a second here. Astrea wants to push on in, but no reinforcements just yet. Nova goes on out, hits a few of the Roaches there. The Banelings still are causing trade-outs. Nova goes on out, picks off a couple of the Ravagers. It's really now or never for Astrea, though, and he's taken an alright fight as Solar goes off creep. Solar's really committed. Reinforcements for Astrea are legging it across the map to join on up, and Astrea might actually make this push happen. He's suddenly up in army supply. He's building himself a bit of a gap here. He's pushing on in towards the 3rd. This is where it becomes desperate for Solar. He's pulling the drones, but there's still a lot of Immortals to tank here. Another Prism with more Zealots push on in, and I think Astrea is going to tie this one up as he's pushing on in towards the 3rd base of the Zerg. 16 drones have died. And while Banelings pick off a lot of the Zealots there, it's still tough for Solar. Even if he cleans this out, he's already taken so much damage. And yeah, I think Astrea has actually tied it up here. Stalkers pushing on in. There's enough of them to volley down any of the Zerg units, really. Astrea even microing with his Prism. And yeah, Solar just doesn't have that critical mass to hold on anymore. He's now pulling the drones at his natural, which is just disastrous. And that's gotta be it, right? Like, Solar has no way to clean this up. His production has just been cut down, and as a result, Astrea gonna tie this up 2-2, potentially gonna give us an upset here. The fact that he's already bringing it back is showing that Astrea is a very, very good Protoss player. Let's find out what the next map is here. Nightshade is going to be the final map. Wow, what a game between those two players. Wait, maybe not Nightshade, pardon me. Okay, it is going to be Nightshade. Never mind. The problem is players do the vetoes and they're like, and the way that it works out is that no one actually says map 5. So then you have to do the mental math of what maps have been played and whatnot. But yeah, we're going to load on into the next map here. And what a great series between these players. It's like both players are ready, and Astrea showing that he has got a beautiful Protoss style. And we'll see if he's able to knock down Solar. Solar, he's kind of the unspoken king of Afreeca world. Like, it's just like if Solar's in one of the events, he's got pretty good odds to win the whole thing. And here we are. It is a best of 5. And it is tied up 2-2. In the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Triumphant Songs Gaming Solar. And in the top left, it's Astrea. One of the up and up American Protoss players. Astrea, keep in mind, has won Afreeca World. The last North American Cup we did, he was the victor. So, he is not green to this either. However, playing on the Korean server while living in Korea and training in Korea and playing versus someone as good as Solar, that's a different challenge, and clearly so. All these games have been very close, and I'm just loving this series between these two. Just an amazing series. Astrea coming on in with his probes, scouting out, and I mean, we'll see. Solar could be getting like a little bit frustrated. He's a very seasoned player, and this is an online cup. It's not like a GSL finals. However, still, even though like you're up 2-0, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it through easy. Then all of a sudden, you have these close games and things start going against your way. You're just like, oh man, how am I gonna win this? Or what am I gonna do for the final game? Like, it's tough for either of these players probably to pick their build. Because, like, you've had successes, you've had failures in this series for your builds. And nothing really definitive has worked, so you gotta like, oh, how am I gonna play this out? Solar goes for a quick third base, for starters. Sub 2-minute hatchery. While this probe's still just being a pain. Endless harassment going down from Astrea. Just gonna grab his minerals and go. I think that's one of the things that's really impressive about good Protoss players. The fact that they have a very wide range of builds, and we've seen that from Astrea. Really bringing it. Now we'll see if he's got one for game number 5. Like, I almost want to say maybe he should just play standard like he did in the first 3 PVZs he played. Maybe give it another go or something. Because Solar's probably expecting, like, an all-in. I don't know. It's tough to say. Stargate is on the way. This Overlord most likely going to fall victim to the Stalker. That's on the production tab for Astrea. Meanwhile, the Adept's scouting out. And where's that Stalker? I think the Stalker should be going for this Overlord, right? Or is he just worried about Lings or something? I guess he's worried about Lings, but yeah, this Stalker can definitely kill this Overlord. There we go, now he's gonna go. A little bit late. I guess better late than never, though. Astrea going to be going for a quick third base once again. Keeping the Oracle back at home because he knows Lings are going to be moving out on the map. So that's his choice this game, to go for a quicker third base. Lings can try and get on in towards the natural, but there's an Adept there. There is an Oracle and an Adept at this third base. So far, Astrea going to be able to defend this. And he's also going into a third Oracle, which I like. Having lots of energy. Mass Oracles actually can help in most defenses if the Zerg goes for anything aggressive, too. Shield Battery going to be getting thrown on up for Astrea. He sends his probe out. Where's this probe going? To the 4th base? Was Astrea planning a quick 4th Nexus? Or something nuts like that? That would just be insane. So I'm not sure what that probe was doing just hanging out there. The Adepts will save the probe, though. While the Oracles, looking for whatever they can. So far, just the one drone has died. These Adepts... Oh, one of them goes down, not making it towards the shield battery. What was Astrea doing with that probe? He is going for a quick 4th base. The mad lad. This is insane, going for a 4th base this quick in a PvZ, right? While also pressuring with your Oracles. Like, he's really got nothing to his name. He's killing off the Lings as well. We see him activate that pulsar beam there because he knows that what he's doing is insane, and he doesn't want Solar to scout it. Like, this is such a nuts build to go for a 4th base this quick. He hasn't even saturated his 3rd yet. Crazy, crazy build coming out of Astrea. So he's been relying on the Oracles to defend on the ground. The concern, though, Solar's going for a Spire, and you may remember that Solar pretty much just outright won in game number 1 with his Spire, with his Ling, with his just attack. And, I mean, if Astrea doesn't scout this, he can simply just die again like he did before. Where is that Spire? It's at the back of the main base. And it has yet to be scouted out. Astrea is countering a ground attack with his Mass Oracles, but he doesn't have anything really to help him out versus Mutas just yet. He starts up his Blink now. However, this Spire is coming out pretty quick. At least he's gonna have a very big economy so he can afford to lose probes if Solar does hit him with a ton of Mutas. And he'll also be able to invest in a lot of cannons and shield batteries if he eventually does spot this. But that Spire is now done. Solar fires up 6 Mutalisks. And yeah, this is just a little bit odd. Solar hasn't actually spotted the 4th base yet, so he has no idea. Astrea, in a sense, is getting away with this. But whether he's just going to die to 9 Mutas showing up once more, it'll be a bad case of deja vu. He's not scouted this out. He's got to be getting a little bit worried. Like, okay, what are you going? There we go. He sees the Mutas. All of a sudden, these Oracles are going to be hoofing it home. Cannon starts immediately. Stalkers are going to begin warping on in, and there is going to be Blink and a ton of gateways. Pardon me as my desk gets hit there. Stalkers are out, so okay. This is actually okay for Astrea. Just every second that he repels the Stalkers or the Mutas at first makes things a lot better for him. He's going to have Blink momentarily. He's got enough Stalkers and still got the Oracles out. This is actually a really, really good start here for Astrea. And he's just got away with a quick 4th base. Like, this is nuts how quick of a 4th he went for on the map Nightshade. But a really cool choice. And Solar still has no idea about this. Like, he was probably thinking that there could be attacks in the back of his mind. But if he had spotted this, he would have not been worried at all. Stalkers have Blink too. They can potentially Blink under these Mutas. Gets 2 of them there. Nicely done. With every Muta that dies, they're less effective, and now Astrea is just warping in more and more Stalkers as this game goes on. We'll see what else he's going for. He's got 1/1 upgrades right now. Gets himself one of the Mutas there, gonna Blink these guys on into the main base and shoot those Mutas out, while still just having a presence with all of his Stalkers. And look at this, Solar is finally gonna spot the 4th base, and he had no idea about this. He's gonna get 2 probes, and that's all the Mutas have done so far. And Astrea has just been getting away with just a ludicrous economy. Charges on the way for Astrea. He doesn't even have a Templar Archives yet, but off the back of his good economy, he can throw up just any tech he wants. He's got the Oracles, so Solar really can't push on in or be too aggressive. The Oracles have been worth their weight in gold. And that's just really a saving grace for Astrea, because right now Solar does have a very strong army, but when there's mass Oracles in the sky, they'll just cut through pretty much everything. The Stalker count, I'm not sure how effective that's going to be for Astrea. Like, Stalkers are good and all, but this is a lot of Roach Raptor and Lingbane, and there is a chance that he can still just die here. A couple of force fields going down. He has the stasis wards to fall back on, thankfully, and he's going to try his luck pushing with these Stalkers. It's very, very risky to do so, but he's got the stasis wards. He knows he can fall back on, one of them being baited out, the second being baited out, the third being baited out. That's all the stasis wards gone, so Astrea has got to fall back with just his Blink Stalkers, but he can always turn on his Oracle's Pulsar Beams, and he's going to do just that. That's going to turn the Zerg away, or at least help fight here. The Oracles are pretty much out of energy, though, so Astrea is on the retreat right now. But he's still got such a good economy behind this. On his 4-base economy, he's getting up Robos here. No Templar Archives yet is a little bit odd, I find. But still, very, very good here for Astrea. More Banelings being morphed on in. For Solar, he's just going to be looking to go for a kill move. The Oracle's suddenly out of energy, though. All the stasis wards really depleted them, so they're not there to help out with the mass lings. And Astrea, he had this good economy, but he did just commit to mass Stalker, and he could be regretting that now. As a tide of Banelings is rolling forward, the Zealot's going to try and buffer as many as they can. Astrea does have good upgrades with 2-2, which is absolutely helping him out. But so many Stalkers dying there to Banelings. The Oracle's coming on in. It looks like Astrea is going to hold, though, with minimal losses, probably thanks to his 2-2 upgrades there, his Stalkers being a lot more tough than they really have any right to be versus Mass Lingbane. Yeah, very, very good for Astrea. And keep in mind, Solar has just been committing to this Roach Ravager. We see 3-3 on the... We see 3-3 on the way for Astrea. I'd love to see some Archons versus this style, but he hasn't invested in that Templar Archives yet. He's now going into double Colossus production, which is a little bit nuts. Baneling's getting cut up there by the Oracles. Corrosive Bile going down to try and hit some of them. Meanwhile, the Stalkers are just going to keep retreating. Zealot's warping on in. There isn't that much to deal with the Banelings, so while Astrea has got himself some good upgrades on his Stalkers, it's still tough to just fight with just Stalkers versus this much Lingbane, and I'm a little bit concerned for him right now. He's had himself some very, very good, a very, very good opening with his economy, but he is actually just kind of dying here. Yeah, Astrea, a very good start, but his supply is just tanking right now, and the Mass Stalker really not going to cut it. That's it. GG. Solar. By rights. Should